This is from Common Dreams. It's as bad as it looks. Pelosi under fire for debt ceiling deal that hands GOP power to kneecap a progressive agenda. It sets up a crisis of the first year of the next president's administration. We're letting them light the fuse on another bomb and place it squarely in the middle of the next president's first year. That might not even be a metaphor, by the way. They might mean literally. They're like, yeah, we're letting them make more bombs, so we can't do anything else. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may have helped temporarily avert a looming fiscal crisis on Monday by striking a budget deal with the Trump administration, but progressives warn the agreement hands Republicans power to kneecap the next president's agenda by suspending the debt ceiling until after the 2020 elections. Okay, how does it do that? The debt ceiling is the legislation's limit on how much the federal government can borrow. If the ceiling is not raised, the U.S. would risk defaulting on its debts and potentially sparking a global financial crisis. Former congressional staffers and other critics said that by agreeing to suspend the debt ceiling until 2021, Pelosi gave Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell the ability to extract massive spending cuts and other concessions from a Democratic president in exchange for raising the limit. In short, what does that mean in short? Hey, Republicans, spend now, so after 2020, we can't spend later. So if by chance a progressive were to get in the White House, say Bernie Sanders, they're going to be able to say he can't spend anything because look at all this money the Republicans spend. Look, Nancy Pelosi just handed it over. They said, yeah, sure, we'll raise the ceiling. You do what you want. So they're going to spend money on war and bombs and tax cuts for the 1%. And then if a progressive or a Democrat even gets in the White House, we can't really spend anything. We need to rein it in now. You know how long it's been like this? At least my entire lifetime, and probably beyond. If you look at past presidents throughout my entire lifetime, Ronald Reagan spent on the deficit. Bush the first exploded the deficit. Bill Clinton got it to zero. Bush the second exploded the deficit. Barack Obama made a dent in the deficit, but not near that of Bush the second or any Republican presidents in my lifetime. And Republicans on the surface benefit the corporate elite, benefit the 1%, pursue the economy of war, and do nothing else. Democrats, they do the same thing. They're just a little more subtle about it. And Nancy Pelosi once again rolled over, gave Trump exactly what he wanted. You see how both parties are bought by the same people. You see how this is a rigged system. This is a fixed game. Imagine a sporting event where one entity bets on both competitors. That has happened, and those are considered rigged events. Well, that's what's happening here. That's what's been happening for the longest time. They let the Republicans do what they want with the budget, do what they want with the deficit. It doesn't matter when it's a Republican. And then all of a sudden, when there's more public pressure to actually do something for people, because maybe, and I don't know, like in 2008, when Barack Obama won and he made all these promises to people, well, we got to rein it in though now. We got to rein it in. And this is setting the stage. Nancy Pelosi just set the stage that if Bernie Sanders were to win in 2020, they would tell him he can't spend anything. They would say, no, you can't have Medicare for all. Hurts the deficit too much. You can't have this. That's what happens when you have one party, and it's the money party. And the Democrats are in opposition to the Republican Party the same way the Washington Generals are in opposition to the Harlem Globetrotters. It's a game. It's a game. And we're supposed to have reverence for this system. We're supposed to take this system seriously. We're supposed to not realize that we need a revolution. We're supposed to actually entertain the fantasy that this is and it's a fantasy. It is a fantasy that this is a real opposition. I mean, imagine you turned on a sports show and there's sports commentators commenting on the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals as if it was a real game. Like, imagine that. Imagine you tune in and they're just like, well, when I really thought the Washington Generals were going to get back in the game, but then when he pants the guy and his boxers were showing, he got a little embarrassed. And then when the Washington Generals guy was supposed to take a foul shot, but the Harlem Globetrotters took it instead, I was thinking, how did that happen? That doesn't even violate the rules. And then the Harlem Globetrotter took the ref's whistle and he blew the whistle. Can that happen? People would be like, what's wrong with these sports Is this satire? Is this a parody? Because we all know that's not a real game. It's theater. That's what it's like when you hear people commenting, well, I think the Democrats, this is part of it. Which strategy is this part of? Hey, give Trump what he wants. He can spend whatever, and then we'll worry about this after 2020. So if a progressive were to get in, whoops, what is Nancy Pelosi getting in this scenario besides absolutely nothing? I'll tell you what she's really getting. She's really getting the ability to kneecap a progressive in 2020. She's really getting the approval of her donors. That's what she's really getting. Because she has gotten rich beyond comprehension since she's been in office. Why? Because she's corrupt to the core. And here's another exercise of that. But this is supposed to be the resistance. It's the resistance. And I'm surprised. I really thought the Washington Generals were going to win that one. I'm very surprised. Thought the Washington Generals were going to pull out a W. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news